All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to go ahead and go over Chapter 6, Digital Technologies in the Classroom. And we're going to start off with input devices in the classroom. Your text talks about a whole wide range of them. First one we're going to look at is scanners. These are wonderful pieces of equipment that are used to convert printed copy or images into a digital version. We can take hard copies of anything that we printed, lay them down in a scanner. It'll scan them and then convert them to a digital format for us to be able to kind of cut down on the amount of paperwork we have and all of the files that we have in our file cabinets. We can dwindle that down very, very well and save them as digital images. With optical character recognition, or OCR software, scanned text can be saved as a word processing file. With the OCR software, it'll recognize the letters and then convert it into a form that we can then pull it into a word processing software and then do any kind of editing, manipulation that we want to do with it, and then save it again as a word processing file, using whatever format we are, and then distribute it, print it, do whatever we want with it. Flatbed scanners may also scan one page or multiple pages and can scan from a book. Depending upon the size of your scanner, you can take stuff out of a textbook. If you want to do some handouts or things like that, you can just lay them down on the scanner flatbed and glass surface and just scan that, save it to a file, and then make copies and distribute them as you need. Now, when we talk about scanners, the higher the resolution, or dots per inch, or DPI, the larger the file. Also, whenever you buy a scanner, look at the dots per inch. The higher the dots per inch, then that's the better quality scanner. Now, of course, you're going to pay for that quality, but yet, like that, you'll be able to do photos, you'll be able to do text. You won't be limited in what you can scan. But remember that the more resolution you get, the larger those file sizes are going to be. And so you just have to make sure that your microprocessor can crunch all those bits and bytes to be able to convert those files whenever you're done. Some more input devices, well, certainly digital cameras. They're very affordable now, but you can take images, take photographs, and store them to some storage media. And so the higher the resolution with that camera, like they'll have so many megapixels that the camera has. The higher that number, the sharper the picture. Just like the scanner, the bigger the file size. And so if you're going to do any kind of conversions and things like that, it'll take some processing power. Now, you've got all kinds of storage media that's available to you, like compact flash, secure digital, XD picture, memory stick, micro drive, smart media. You can even have cameras that will save them directly to CD or DVDs. I have a digital uh, video camera that has a built-in hard drive. And so they come in all different sizes, all different configurations, but they will all take pictures for you. And many of the cameras will give you so many seconds or minutes of video, depending upon whatever size storage media you've got. Now, what's wonderful about the digital cameras is that you can download your images to your computer just to view them. And then if you have most of the cameras that you'll get will have some software bundled with it, or else for you to download. And so that you can go in and edit your pictures, especially if you've ever taken any pictures with a flash. You know, the red eye situation where it looks like the pupils of your people that you're taking a picture of are all bright red. Well, that's really the flash flashing on the back of their retina. And but nevertheless, there's photo software that will, all you have to do is to click a couple of clicks on the mouse and tell the software to remove the red eye, and it scans the picture, and boom, they're gone. And so you can edit and do all kinds of great things with that software, and then use with other programs. You can then take those picture files and then pull them into a word processor or a desktop publishing software like I'm drawing a blank now. Microsoft Publisher, but there's one by Borderbond that's Print Shop that a lot of people use and does a great job. And most have some LCD screens that let you view the images before you download them, and then you can kind of use that as a viewfinder to take pictures with. Digital photos can be used in many software programs or can be printed, obviously. Once you have that photo in digital form, you can do all kinds of things with it. There's one kind of camera that many of us are starting to see used quite a bit, and that's the webcam, like a little video camera that we can attach to our computer or else our monitor. In fact, the times that I have done any kind of video that you can see me, that's what I've done. I have a webcam that's sitting on top of my monitor, and that's what gets those video pictures for my lectures. Now, many of these webcams are external. That means that they are not part of the computer, but many laptops and other monitors have cameras that are built into them. And so you can have both types, and both types work quite well. Now let's take a look at graphics or digital tablets. You have like a pencil or a stylus that's used to draw an electronic pad. I have one of these that I haven't used for this class, but up to this point, but it doesn't mean that I might attach it later on. And all it is just a little digital pad, and I have a little stylus on it, and I can, with some of my software, draw, annotate, and do all kinds of stuff with it as I'm lecturing. The pressure of the stylus on the pad is converted to images or commands, and so it's touch sensitive, and so whenever you press down, the pad will respond. Likewise on the monitor to those inputs, and allows more precise control than a mouse, and can be used for creating artwork. If you're into art, that's one great application of it, but we also use it for drafting at our school. Uh, every computer at students' drafting desks have a pad like that, and they use their AutoCAD software to be able to draw all kinds of things. And it just gives them a really nice, precise control over that software. And you can use it to create some original images or enhance or annotate existing images. If you want to take pictures that you've taken with your digital camera, pull it in. You can use that stylus to edit them and do all kinds of things. Or else, if you're artistic, there are all kinds of software out there that you can use to draw your own pictures. We also have sound input devices, and most common one of that is a microphone, and that's what I'm using right now to pick up my voice for this lecture. Many computers and laptops have a built-in mic, and so you can utilize that one. Sometimes the quality of the mic is not exactly up to par, but it works. And then you can have an external mic, which is like the one that I'm using, which just plugs into a USB port. You can use them to save interviews, add commentary, or record music to enhance computer presentations or tutorials. With a lot of the multimedia software that we've got out there right now, you can really create your own little learning video or tutorial and have that available to your students. You don't have to go out and spend thousands of dollars on commercial presentation software. And one of the wonderful things about recordings is that certainly they can support those who are auditory learners. That will work very well for them. But there's always a downside. Your sound files are large files. And so you need to be aware of that, especially if you're putting something or wanting to upload something to the internet or to a course management system. The files may be quite large, and you may have issues uploading them, and certainly even sharing them via email. But your pin input devices are usually used with a number of different types of computers. Personal digital assistants, or PDAs, are just handheld type computers that you can write on the screen with a stylus. Tablet PCs, which are laptops that function very much like a iPad or a smartphone. They have a very large display, and that display is synced up with a pen, and so you can literally write on it, and it'll record what you write for editing later on. You press it against the screen, and it records your commands or your handwriting. Then there are some of these tablet PCs that have built-in software that will take your writing, convert it to text, and then you can pull it into a word processor. And it's in essence a notebook PC with input functionality like a PDA. So it gives you a whole lot of options. They're portable, they're convenient, they're lightweight, and certainly using the stylus and just writing on it, you can take your written words, and the software that you have that is handwriting recognition software will take that handwriting, convert it to text, and then you can save it as you wish. Your drawings are saved as graphics files. And then one of the nice things about the tablet PCs is that there's usually built-in Wi-Fi capability for them, so you can then hook up wirelessly to other networks, which gives you internet access. Now, another type of output device that is gaining a whole lot of popularity now are touch screens. It's a computer monitor that responds to touch. I have one at work, and it takes a little getting used to, but if you've used any kind of smartphone, you can. It won't take you very long to get used to that. You just touch your icons or menu items, and rather than use the mouse, so you don't need a mouse here. You just use your fingers. It's best at receiving commands and making selections. You'll still need a keyboard to do any kind of word processing or typing that you may need to do, but yet all the commands that you would input with a mouse, you can use this touchscreen. What's nice about this is that it's useful as an assistive device for students who are pre-literate or have limited motor skills. So if there's some motor issues there for some students, they can still use the touch screen instead of that mouse, and still have some control over it. And certainly for those young children that can't read yet, the graphics that learning software that you can get for them allows them to touch and interact with that software and learn all kinds of good things. Now, here's one of my favorite things that I've really enjoyed at work, and that's electronic whiteboards. They're basically dry erase boards that have electronic components that pick up on the writing, and so you really don't need the dry erase markers. Now, you can use your dry erase markers to write or draw on some of these, but for others, you don't. But it captures whatever you write up there, or annotate on there, or draw, and saves it as a digital file. So you can share those by either printing them or sharing them electronically. Now, there are some portable devices that can convert a regular whiteboard into an electronic whiteboard. And so all you have to do is purchase that equipment. It usually hangs off of, to one side of the whiteboard, and then once you kind of sync the thing up, it'll record whatever you write. Then we've got data and video projectors. You can connect them to a computer to display large images. The most common type of technology we've got is an LCD, LED, or DLP. These projectors are quite portable, but yet the quality of them now is quite impressive. And so we can, instead of having like a television, we can invest in one of them and just throw that video or that image on a wall and go about our teaching. But it'll display both computer and video images. There's usually a remote control associated with it for you to be able to control it while you're walking around the classroom, so you don't have to be right there in front of it. You can notice if you have one, there'll be some multiple input jacks in the back that will do the video and also the audio. So you can hook up speakers or multiple televisions if you want. And they are becoming smaller and cheaper every day. In fact, I can remember one of the first units that we got at our school ran us about $6,000-7,000 for this thing. And now we don't even use it anymore because it's so old and so out of date. Then we've got what are called scan converters. It'll convert digital computer signals for display on analog TV. So we can take our computer output, our video output, and then convert it to be able to display on an analog television. They're very inexpensive compared to other digital display devices. Let's face it, a lot of schools have the old analog systems, but its resolution is going to only be as good as the analog television's display resolution. Speakers and headphones. Many PCs come equipped with internal speakers, or else we can purchase the external speakers to attach to our sound cards of our PCs, or else that are attached to it. And so you basically plug the speakers in and play any kind of audio that's associated with the software. You can either plug it into the same port or one on a sound card. If your motherboard has integrated sound, great. If you don't have integrated sound, invest in a very inexpensive sound card, plug it in to the motherboard, and you're good to go. Now, if you want more than one student to be able to listen at the same time, then you're going to have to come up with something called a splitter. So you can plug in multiple headphones at one time. Wireless. Wireless fidelity, or Wi-Fi, uses very fast radio frequency connections. This is like the radio that you and I listen to, but yet the frequency is very high. And this Wi-Fi will connect computers and other handheld devices and all kinds of other electronic devices without wires. It's usually spreading quickly, and it's becoming more common than hardwired computers, because let's face it, we hook up wires to all of these components, especially if it's a networked lab. Well, you've got all of the time and effort that you have to spend running the wire, running the cable, putting the cable connections to work, testing it to make sure it works. Well, Wi-Fi, you plug one little component into a network connection, and all of a sudden this thing, and plug it into a power supply, and the whole classroom has access through it. And so it saves so much time. They eliminate the cost of retrofitting schools for network cables. And let's face it, copper is not cheap anymore, and certainly costs pretty good amount of cash for fiber optic, but wireless will work in just about any kind of classroom setting. And it works, you're very flexible with where you locate components and how you have them arranged. You don't have to keep the same configuration. Like in my classroom, I have a wired component. My desks are basically nailed to the floor, you could say, because my wired connections come in 2 points in my room, and all of my computers are wired from those two drops from the ceiling, and so there's nothing that I can do. But if I was wireless, then I could arrange and rearrange my room any way that I wanted to, as long as I can get power to my computers. Some emerging technologies out there: PDAs, smartphones, and netbooks. We're all pretty familiar with that. They were once rapidly growing. PDA capabilities are now being found in smartphones, and so these PDAs were just their own standalone little computer, and really all you could do was to use it as a computer. But now smartphones are becoming more and more capable. They're just about as good as a PDA now, and so we're starting to see fewer and fewer PDAs out there. And now smartphones are starting to get to the point that they're just as capable as some PCs. Now, although they have much potential, smartphones, which are cell phones, have not integrated well into schools. A lot of schools don't want the distraction of students dialing in or texting or doing anything on these smartphones. I live near Iota High School. That was where I graduated from high school. They are running a pilot project, and I think they're one of the few schools in this state that is trying to embrace the smartphone. The teachers were trained over the summer to try to integrate that technology into the classroom, because let's face it, maybe it's easier to work with them than fight the students with this technology. And so I'll be very interested in finding out what is going to happen there, because I think this has a lot of impact on the future of this kind of technology, because many school boards and many educational institutions want to kind of limit their use. So we'll see what happens. Netbooks have become very popular with students and travelers. These netbooks are basically like laptops that don't have a hard drive. All they're designed to do is just to hook up to the internet. And now that we have a lot of what is called cloud computing, where your data is stored on the servers of your like your third party, and so like that, you've got 24/7 access to that data, and you don't really need anything other than a connection to the internet to be able to do your work. E-books display electronic multimedia versions of a book. Now, I'm one of these people that loves the feel of a book in their hand. And my family, for one Christmas, bought me a Nook. And I was very disgusted and told them that they just wasted their money, that I wouldn't use that to save my neck. And so one of my sisters just got after me and kept pestering me and kept getting after me to use that Nook. And so to get her off my back, I got online, created myself an account, and I bought me a sci-fi novel. Well, I started reading it, and there was an amazing thing that I was able to do with that Nook that I couldn't do with anything else, and that was expand the print, make it larger so I could read and not have a headache reading. And so, needless to say, I had a lot of crow to eat, because I love my Nook. I've got all kinds of textbooks, novels on it, and wouldn't want to read any other way now, because of the flexibility that it gives me, and plus I can finally see what I'm reading. But these uh, e-books give us, and e-readers give us so much more flexibility. We can embed videos and graphics and all the other things and audio files into text that we could never do before. And it looks like more and more publishers are charging more and more for textbooks now. And so chances are these books are going to be becoming cost prohibitive for a lot of students to be able to buy. And so we may see more and more of the electronic books being used from time to time. They may enable note taking and other features, so students can use them just like a tablet PC, and they can store many books. I have like almost 100 books stored on my Nook, and I've still got a lot of capacity on it. And then what's really nice is that there's built-in software that if you don't want to read, it'll read to you. And certainly that can be a great thing for those students with limited reading abilities. And these devices are available from Kindle. That's, I think, Amazon's version of the e-reader. Sony, Apple, and Nook, like I said, put out by Barnes and Noble. But there's all kinds of other devices out there. Then you got your voice-activated devices and software that you communicate or issue commands with a computer via your voice. And it can eliminate the need for typing or clicking any mouse commands. One program that I'm familiar with is Dragon Naturally Speaking. You can load it on your computer. It runs around $80 to $100. I've seen it so far, and it will, with practice, allow you to speak commands and also type documents just by speaking into the microphone of your PC. And certainly it has a lot of applications as a widely used assistive device for those students that have physical issues. And it can make computing more flexible, including freeing users from keyboard or mice. And so like that, they can kind of walk around and just, instead of being seated in one place. Then we've got our USB drives. They come by all kinds of terms: jump drives, flash, or keychain drives. They're small, lightweight, and they have quite a bit of storage capacity in the gigabit range. You got it's like a memory card type of storage or RAM storage. There's no moving parts, so there's nothing really to break. And you can erase it and reuse it over and over and over again. When it's all said and done, computer hardware makes it possible to enhance teaching and learning. And we just have to understand that equipment sometimes is a major investment, and it's not going to solve all our problems. All it is a tool to make us better teachers. And the software focuses hardware on classroom-specific teaching and learning tasks. Just like as we read in the chapter, you have to have software and hardware for computers to work. And so we need to look at getting lesson-specific software to be able to enhance our teaching. And that's becoming more and more available by a lot of our textbook publishers. They'll many times bundle in some software for students or for teachers that really help us do that. Instead of us having to go out and buy, with our limited budgets, some specific kind of software for our classrooms. But you and I ought to review and evaluate both hardware and software carefully to ensure selection of the best support tools, because we need support from our hardware and software manufacturers, because things change. Hardware, when it works, is great, but whenever we start to see problems, and they can crop up, we need help. We need immediate tech support, and hopefully the software and hardware manufacturers that you and I have been dealing with will help provide us that. Or else, if we're fortunate, we'll have our own IT staff, which can assist us to a great extent. So that ends chapter 6, and so we will shut this lecture down and get ready for chapter 7.